Welcome to a complete beginner's guide on how to build a Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive MA chassis. If you are a new or returning racer encountering the MA chassis for the first time, then hopefully this should prove useful and help you in building other kits that may use the MA chassis. Follow along as we build the Japan Cup 2018 kit, and make sure to stick around until the end as I show you the parts and guide you step by step in building, while also providing tips on how to properly build the kit. Finally, once built, we will race the car to show its performance on the track. For a more complete review and general information on the Japan Cup 2018 Abilista kit and the MA chassis, including its parts, please watch my full review video. I'll post the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's begin. For this build, you need to have like a screwdriver, hobby knife, a side cutter or something equivalent to a side cutter. Spray paint is actually optional. It's really more for like finishing touches. Okay, just instructions on how to like cut, and you need to make sure to apply some grease. This part pretty much shows you how to assemble the body, and then after that it shows you how to apply the stickers. It tells you that you'll need these paints. This part here shows you how to assemble the chassis, the rear skid bar, and the rollers. This section here shows you how to install the wheel, and then this is how you install the terminals and the switch, and how you would remove the terminals and even the rotating switch so you can release the motor. So here's that part you use to install the pinion gears to the two ends of the double shaft motor. Assemble the motor housing and then mount it onto the body. Also take note of like some instructions, like as far as like making sure that it's oriented properly. So this is how to actually release the motor using this tool. And then it shows you like how to install the gears, put the motor cover, and then how to release it. And lastly, this is how to install the battery. Turn it on, lock the battery. Actually, be sure to mount the battery, lock it, and then turn it on. And this is how you release it. Release the lock, remove, and then remove the battery. And finally, how to put the car body onto the chassis, completed chassis, and then lock it with the lock. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and start the build. To start off, let's just work on the wheels first. See the wheels, so it says the Tamiya Mini4wd drive and Japan Cup 2018. To cut it, so make sure to pull and then snip. Just try to use your nip to see if you can reach that part. So again, do this. These are hard. Okay, next up is the wheels. So to cut, so yeah, just make sure you cut a small part there in between the wheel and the sprue, so that's called a gate. The sharp edge. If you have some sanding sticks, and you can choose to use those. Yeah, see there. Okay, let's go ahead and prepare or get some other pieces that we'll need to continue with the installation of the wheel. So mainly we need the wheel shafts and the axles. We will also need to get the gears ready. Here are the gears with the pinion gears. Your step screws with the counter gear shafts, some roller screws, washers as well for the rollers. Your terminals. The MA chassis didn't come with 4 terminals. We'll install that later. Put that inside. Of course, you have your grease. Just twist this open, fairly easy. You have your dual shaft motor, as you can see. So we go. It's SMC. And we have these shafts, or axles. Before we install that, let's go ahead and install. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and just align the axles first. So we've gone ahead and aligned the wheel. We have it marked. So both wheels. So once we attach them to the chassis later, we know where to direct them. Let's go ahead and start working on the chassis. I need to take out some of the parts here. This is the 8 parts. So in the manual, we'll show you that it says 8 parts. And it is numbered, like you see numbers there, and it'll tell you which part you need to get from the sprue. But otherwise, like, everything is, most of it is like obvious, like which part you need to cut. Just simple, straight up, just remove the gate part. So some of these parts, which make sure that's the only thing that you cut there and nothing else. So some are very small, so be very careful that you're not cutting into the piece itself. Here, like the motor casing, so make sure that that small part there are the ones that you actually cut and nothing else. Same thing with the when you cut the rollers, make sure that you don't actually like cut too much. It's okay to actually leave some, and then you can just sand it down later. Just go ahead and remove some of these parts. This part here, as I mentioned, this one will be used to install the pinion gear on the motor. This part forms the front of the motor housing. This is the switch. This is the second part of the motor housing. This is your body catch. And this piece, as I pointed out, is the one that will be used to remove a few of the things like the motor and these. We're going to go ahead and attach the terminals. Before we do that, since we're going to be handling it and we don't want grease, let's go ahead and make sure our hands are oil-free. 4 pieces. So that's actually like an excess, so we should cut that one. Let's sand it down just a little bit. And then, yeah, we check there, so let's go ahead and sand it down. And to attach the motor, well, let's not attach the pinion gears just yet, so I just want to show you this. So, attach it here, it's going to lock it in place, so it is shaped, so it's gonna go in one way only. And at the back, so you'll see that flat section there, it should lay flush on the part of the chassis, so you just need to push it together, and yeah, there we go. And also, let's go ahead and see that small section there, so just flatten it a bit. So these two, there are 2 pieces of this that looks like this. Will go to the front, and then the other 2 will go to the back. So this one, so you see there's actually like a small slot there. So these 2 sections that this will go in. Right. And then the other one, also there's like a slot there. So not the big one, just a small one. So you can see that. That's where it's supposed to go in. Okay. And then to lock that in place, then just take one of these and then just insert it, right? And then you'll hear it snap, so that'll lock the terminal in place. So same thing with the other one, so insert it this way, and yep, make sure it goes in like that, and then it'll lock. So for the front, do the same thing. So you see there, so again, just insert it in that groove there, insert that behind the terminal, and snap. Last one. Let's see if it's not going in, that means it's just not straight. And then again, insert that on the back. So the terminals are locked in. So the motor is supposed to go like, you have the terminals here, so it's supposed to touch over there. So we just insert that last. Let's work on the rest of the transmission first. We need to be putting these eyelets into each of these holes. So let's go and cut them. Make sure not to lose these. And the fact that these are made out of palm, that means regular eyelets will not be as smooth. So see if we need to sand parts. I think we need to. So again, just lightly. Go ahead and try it out. Should be secure enough. Don't think. It's not work on the rest. So just cut it enough that it's still. There's going to be a tight fit. Okay. Okay. We're ready to install the wheels. Get some grease. And I cut the top here. I'm going to use this used up old brush onto each of the eyelets, inside and outside. Let's go ahead and take out the gears from this one. And I have here your pinions to install that on the motor. So you put the pinion onto this holder, like so, and then just push down while it's in there. And because it's actually there, it holds it in place, and you don't have to worry about it jumping all over it when you're trying to get it inserted. You don't need to remove this. Can't really install it while it's there. And there you go. Make sure that it's as flush to the shaft as much as possible. And then you can just keep this for future use. And to get the gear shafts out of the baggie, taking out for the gears. Let's try first the front gear. So the gear should be just inserted like that, and then you insert this on one side, and then you just, and then through the other side. Easy, right? Now, one thing you may want to do is make sure that you wipe the end of the shaft, because there's obviously some grease on that. You don't want that grease on there when you insert it to the other wheel, because that could loosen over time. We have the alignment here, that means it should be about there. And just push it in all the way. Test it ready. Okay. Let's go ahead and work on the other side. And again, wipe it down just a little bit. About here, right? And just insert as much as you can. Okay, let's go ahead and mount the wheels. So just go around pressing the tire into the wheel. Let's go back to the back. Japan cup. let's go ahead and continue with the build. Okay, let's go ahead and assemble the chassis. For the switch, insert it like so. It should go underneath that metal terminal for the motor, so we need to push it down there and then press it on the back and attach your gears like so. Make sure the pinion gears are not touching the green gears. If you think it is, then just put it back onto, like for this one I think it's gonna be touching it. Let's test it out. Anyway, to close it, place it around here. So you see there's like a gap, and then you push it back. And then to release it, you just press here and then push it forward. So there. And then back. Here it snaps. You'll see that there is a picture of a battery, so you press it down this way, and then press it back and down. Again, press at an angle, then press down like so. For the lock, so we need to put here, and then that should lock securely. And to turn it on, just switch it. So this is not a full battery. Next up is connecting the rollers. Cut these from the sprues. Try not to overcut and just cut the kit itself. After this, we'll be cleaning up these pieces just to ensure that they will spin evenly on the track walls. If there's a protrusion, then that means every time it's going to hit the wall, then it's going to be bouncing. So I'll avoid that as much as possible. And just feel that part where you cut. See if you need to make any adjustments, like so here and here. Again, you don't want to like as a whole like cut it, just even it out or smoothen it. So it should be very quick once you do it, and you shouldn't be able to feel any rough edges if you did correctly. So again, take your time. No need to rush. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get them installed. Okay, so one thing, if you notice, if you've seen my other videos, I recommend pre-expanding the hole by taking a regular screw and then screwing it on the screw hole. The reason for that is, one, you want to try to loosen the hole so that when you use the step screw, it already has like a thread to go through. Basically, it's straight. Like here for the front, you want it to have like an angle or follow the angle of the bumper. You want it a bit angled when you install the rollers, and at the back, you want it just straight. Key to this is just making sure that it is, and you take your time and not overdo it. So I'm not drilling all, like screwing all the way, just enough so that the step screws will have something to grip on. So, and also this is probably probably something you'd want to do, especially when you're dealing with reinforced chassis. So this is a polycarbonate reinforced chassis, meaning that if you actually needed to like get a screw all the way through, it's not gonna work because it's a tougher material than regular ABS. So you want to make sure it's actually straight. Just keep adjusting it like that. you screw the holes at the top and at the bottom. There are like two placements of the holes here, so in the back, generally if you have the rollers forward, it should turn in curves much quicker, and if you have it on the back, it'll take much longer, but it is actually more stable because it's not as quick, so not enough force to actually propel it out of a curve. So just make sure everything's straight and you're good to go. Okay, let's go ahead and get these step screws and washers out. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll need 6 washers. These 2 will go to the skid bar on the back, and then you'll get an extra washer. Let's go ahead and put this away. Let's see, I'm not going to be using it for anything else here. So again, you need to apply a little bit of grease onto the screw, and then a little bit as well on the washer, and then you insert the screw, and then the washer on the other side. And before you put this onto the chassis, just wipe down again the edge so that you ensure that there's no grease and it doesn't loosen over time. So let's go ahead and put that in. I'm just gonna do the front and back as an example. It's gonna take a while to actually do it. So again, just making sure that it's straight before I completely screw it down, and then just hand tight until it doesn't move. A little on the roller and a little bit on there, and then the washer. And again, just wiping it down. Alright, let's go ahead and screw this one to the front bumper. Alright, again, check it every so often, make sure it's straight. Okay, alright, let's go ahead with this one. And then just hand tight. As you can see, there's an angle. Alright, let's go ahead and work on the rest. So I prefer stability over speed out of corners. Well, most of the time. So depends on the track that you're going to be racing on. If there's not going to be much, there's going to be too much straights, then probably go for the rollers on the front. But if you have too much curves, then best to go for stability and put it on the back. And don't overscrew it. Alright, let's do the other side. Sure that there's an angle here. Right, and then last roller. go. Okay, last piece is the rear skid bar. Let's go ahead and insert that. Just really straightforward, really. You may really put it on those posts and then screw it. There we go. And that is the standard build for an MA chassis. Okay, so just to illustrate a few things, so to remove the battery lock, you just pull it on one side and lift it up, and then to remove the gear cover, you press here and then push it forward, and then you can just lift it up. And then if you want to remove the motor, usually I suggest like holding the 2 gears, because there's always a tendency for that thing to pop out, and then take this piece here and then just press on one of the tabs here, and then yep, that should free up your motor. Okay, and also like I mentioned earlier, so we're gonna push it down a bit more on the front so that there is no gap, or as little gap as possible between the front pinion and the front gear. And also take some like a tissue paper and then press it down as much as you can, and then just reassemble the whole thing again. Let's go ahead and remove it. I'm expecting to be so it's going to be time consuming, so let's see how long it's going to take us to do this. Best not to trim it later. Here, and here, just cut the front cover, so it's like a small section that needs to be trimmed, so just go ahead and trim until higher grit sandpaper. So definitely need to clean that. There's going to be this heavier, thinner one. And so black, so I have TS14 here. Very easy. I don't have a metallic gray exactly, so how that will look. I think that should lighten up. Just clean up the parts here. So just go ahead and overpaint everything. And just wait for it to dry. And clean up a mess. I'll leave the other sides. Fixing the attaching the sticker, so
this piece, you just need to put here, and then just go ahead and start with the side pieces here. Separate. Seems that we got it right in the first. Let's go to the sides. Yeah, so I think it's gonna go just right at the door. These ones go to the side. Let's see. Try that. Tamiya Japan Cup logo. Oh, hang on. Windows. Out. Some sort of dirt. I think there's some sort of dirt. This one at the back. These are lights. And just follow the contours. 4, 5, 6. Right down to the last 3 guys. Whoever said doing this was easy. A few minutes, although it wasn't. Just need to go here. Oh, I suppose that's really arms to it. Okay, we are done with the cowl.
Unfortunately, the actual motor break-in video is missing and I only have the testing of the new motor. Which, by the way, please make sure you remove the skid bar when trying to test the car on a speed checker. In any case, it is an important process that should be done, so I will post a link to a separate video for the motor break-in process instead. MA chassis is fairly simple and similar to previous chassis. Once you have built one and are familiar with the pieces, it can be completed in minutes. It can be used for most racing categories because of its improved transmission, durability, and stability compared to older chassis. You no longer have to worry so much about whether it's coursing out and surviving a hit. Managing technical courses even at a box stock level is of little concern, and the speed is improved compared to older kit. For box stock or pro stock racing, an important consideration will be the cowl, since the larger the profile, the more it adds to the weight of the kit, and this can affect both performance and speed at times. The MA chassis is definitely a great addition to the Mini 4-wheel drive lineup, as it offers a lot of options for racers who are looking to get into or returning to the hobby and want to know which kit to build first.